I'm doing a Glamour Magic group session, and it's going to be for 2 days, September 20th and September 27th. And you're going to have to be locked in for these 2 days. It's going to be a lot going on. And spots are going to be limited because anyone that has been in my group sessions before, any group session, social skills, my book clubs, anything, we spend a lot of time interacting with each other, right? And I like to give women as much personal time as required, right? Of course, it's behind a paywall. I ain't talking to y'all for free, right? So you go to divineladymagic.com to book your spot, right? So what I want to talk about today is how I teach Glamour Magic, right? Glamours is beyond physical appearance, right? Glamour is everything that comes with you. But women tend to focus on what's easier, which is, what's your lip color, sis? Right? What makeup do you wear? And all these things, which plays a big part. Your appearance plays a major part in your glamours, but you can't stop there, right? So I teach intellectual penetration, psychological glamours. Everything that I do requires the skill of thinking. If you have not caught on by now, right? I have a sex magic manifesto. It's really just intellectual penetration, right? Everything I do, everything I teach requires the skill of thinking, right? And so that's the main part of my glamours, right? The physical stuff is easy. I've been doing this for a very long time, right? I've always taken pride in my appearance. Even when people would talk shit about me, where she thinks she going, why she doing all this, it's always been me. I never allowed people to shame me out of being who I am, men or women, right? I never pay, because most people don't really care about themselves, right? So I'm not going to take advice from most people. You have to be mindful of how you are interacting with people, the seeds you allow to be planted in your soil. You have to be very careful. You have to be able to listen and determine what people are trying to do, right? I come from the space of people know what they're doing. I don't give people benefit of the doubt. That ends with children, right? Even if people are stupid, there's always an intent behind why they're doing what they're doing, right? And so the way I operate, it can feel like I'm nitpicking or I'm being petty or, I'm paying attention to things that don't matter, but everything matters. And the more you get into glamour, the more you realize that everything matters. The things people say, the things people do. Now, you can't police everything people do and say, right? That's not the point. The point is awareness so that you could know how to move. And I talk about being aware of yourself and how you affect people. I understand how I affect men and women. This is why I can tell people why they do what they do. Right? When they're going to do what they do, right? Most people are the same. Even people who are ascended, they're still responding from their nature. They still have it in them. We're always going to have the nature we were born with. The goal is to ascend so you don't allow it to control you. But we all respond from that space, and I speak about, men being interested in me, men wanting to pursue me. They're not pursuing me for a relationship. I know this. Most men are not pursuing the average woman on the street for a relationship. They're pursuing you to sleep with you. They want to experience you, right? And then you grow into possibly being a wife. And that's usually what men pursue me for, right? I look like sex, right? I'm desirable in all these things. I know, right? And men end up realizing that I'm not what they thought I was, which is a good fuck. That's what they thought they was going to. Men usually pursue me thinking they're going to fuck me a couple of times and then that's it. right? And usually that's how men pursue women in general, right? But I understand this about me, and I'm not offended by it because it's the male nature. They're not going to sleep with me, so it doesn't matter. They can desire, they can feel, they can do whatever they want to do, and all of that is fueling me. That's the other side of this, right? All of that is fueling who I am, right? So understanding yourself, understanding how you affect people, understanding why people do what they do, all of these things are a part of you glamoring people, right? So the other day, someone left a comment on my TikTok, on one of my TikTok videos, and said, I'm surprised they're not calling you a lesbian yet. So I said, why would they call me a lesbian? And so they go into telling me about how women can't take the truth and, basically just repeating the things that I say online. And I said, well, I don't tell women to not be with men. I tell women about male nature and their actions and, how it can affect them relating with men. But how would that coordinate or correlate to lesbianism? Why? Why would they say that? Then they went in again to further explain. And then I pointed out that, nobody's ever come to me with that lesbian shit, right? She's the first person that ever done that. Why? Because people listen to me and they listen to others and they don't really understand what I'm doing. A lot of times they're trying to side with me as if it's us against them, like these women. No, I'm talking about all of y'all. I don't have any co-hosts. I don't have any co-signs from anybody. I don't need any of that. I don't need anybody to help me do what I'm doing, right? So it's never us against them. I'm speaking to you, right? So people do these things and they try to plant inferior seeds in my soil. I don't allow that. I can't speak on everything, nor do I speak on everything, but I speak on some things, right? Because I'm controlling the narrative as much as I can. Is there something wrong with being a lesbian? No. Just, for any of you who want to, oh my God, she's homophobic. You know how fucking stupid people are, right? Because they take something and run with it. That's not what I'm saying. What people try to do is create something out of nothing, even though they're doing it from a place of mindlessness, or they claim, well, I didn't know, but that's I'm just saying that because of how people think. No, you're trying to plant a seed. You're trying to create a narrative, right? Or people will say things like, I'm surprised you're not canceled yet. Cancel for what? Who the fuck is going to cancel me? People can't cancel their fucking debt. How are they going to cancel me? There will always be people riding for me. There will always be people who desire what I am offering. So cancel me. What the fuck does that mean? Right? But people are trying to plant seeds. Right? And again, while I don't speak on everything, I do speak on certain things because I understand why people are doing what they're doing. And a lot of times people are just fucking bots and AI, and NPCs. People are just fucking dumb, and they're just responding impulsively. They listen to the noise and they just repeat back to me what they hear. There's really not much thought into it. But I speak on certain things because I don't really give a fuck how you operate in your life, because it doesn't affect me, but you're going to operate a certain way in my space. Or I'm going to humiliate you, or I'm going to just get you out of here. Right? Some people are just far beyond. There's nothing here, so I just block them at times, right? But all of this goes into my glamour magic. All of this is me glamoring, right? And so that is what I teach. I don't teach makeup tutorials, and I'm not going to sit online patting my face with a fucking sponge so that women can listen to me. That stuff to me is but again, a lot of women are not smart, so they need stuff like that to distract them, right? I like to think that I'm speaking to intelligent women who can sit and listen to me speak. They don't need distractions. They don't need me, doing makeup tutorials and get ready with Lilith. And I'm not doing all that stupid shit. I'm not an influencer, right? Not that it's stupid, but to me, it's beneath what I do, right? And so when you come into my space, you're going to learn your way. I'm going to support you in thinking and looking at things differently so that you can get the most out of your interactions with people. I warn against women taking the approach of, oh, don't worry about it, just ignore it. A lot of women operate in life like that because they don't know how to deal with things, right? Women lack social skills and they lack the ability to advocate for themselves. And so they take this high ground of, well, I don't have to respond to nothing. No, a lot of times you just don't know how to respond to things. I advocate against that because a lot of times people are saying things to you and they're doing things to plant their seed in your soil. And you gotta, this life is a battlefield for your mind. Everything is battling for control of your mind. Everything. Put nothing past people, right? And so I'm an advocate for women speaking up for themselves when they feel the need to. Learn how to speak up for yourself. Learn how to advocate for yourself. All of this is glamour magic. That's the way I interpret it. And that's the way that I teach it. Right? So a lot of things people may feel like I'm hard on women or I'm mean. No, I'm just not going to allow your bullshit to penetrate me. That's just all this is. Whilst I create what I want to create, right? Glamour is not about tricking people and, creating a false narrative. It's about presenting what you want to be seen, right? Now, people will try to, circumvent what you're doing, right? What they call exposing, or I knew her when she was this, and look at this old picture of her. People may do that. That's just human nature because, again, people are being glamored and they don't like the control that it has over them. So they try to do things to control the narrative on you and to try to control themselves, but they really can't. I'm skilled at what I do, right? And that's what I teach women. You're going to learn your way. You're not going to learn how to be like me, because that's what a lot of women want to learn how to do the things I do and say the things I say. No, this is me and my personality. You have to create your personality or develop your personality and go out in the world with that so that you can know how to respond to people when they say and do the things they say and do to you. A lot of times women don't know how to advocate for themselves and respond because they're picking up things from other people and they don't know how to do things on their own, right? Women are very malleable and easily influenced. Men know this. That's why they want to fuck you as fast as possible, because dick and semen controls women, right? So, you got to know how you want to be seen in the world and how you got to show up to be seen in the world that way. To be seen in the ways that you want to be seen, to be perceived in the way that you want to be perceived in the most authentic ways possible. The goal is authenticity. You're not creating a main character. All that stuff to me is stupid because it's women just acting. Women love to perform and they love to act, but it's not long lasting because it's not authentic, right? So it's not about main character energy and become this and become that. No, become yourself. Develop yourself. Become the best version of yourself and create your world in that way, right? So we're all glamoring each other, but a lot of people are not doing it mindfully. I'm about being mindful with it, right? Being intentional with it, right? Everything has to have an intention behind it. And you have to know what the intention is, right? Again, as I said earlier, everyone has an intention for why they're doing things, but sometimes they don't even realize it, right? So I saw a TikTok and the woman was talking about baddies exposing that they had herpes. And she's like, oh, don't let people discourage you from doing that. And the women were in the comments saying, yeah, they were agreeing with her, right? Now you look at this woman, she's not a baddie at all. Now, I'm not saying the woman is ugly. I'm saying she wouldn't be considered a baddie. So why is she so passionate and concerned about women exposing themselves having herpes? That's all. That whole video was bullshit. Right? It was a different intent behind that. It didn't come from concern about baddies being free with their herpes. Please. It was to paint a narrative. Again, a lot of people, they're not concerned for you. They're getting off on concern. They're getting off on the reactions that people have to your bullshit, to your failures, to your, mishaps. It's a lot of it is a humiliation ritual, and women just fall right into it, right? So, September 20th and 27th. And yes, it's behind a paywall. And no, I don't give discounts, and no, I don't give scholarships, right? Come with your money, right? Because I have a lot to offer.